What you doing? I need to roll up the sleeves before stream. Okay. What you doing? What are you doing? Oh, gross. The slime. Ugh. The slime is real. You're just sliming all over the place, aren't you? Aren't you? $14. I'll go with 4. What? What? What are you doing? All she wants me to do. Let's throw the ball for her. Oh, man. What? What? Just loving life. Loving life. Right? Yes, you. Welcome, welcome to the chat. Ooh. If you haven't been here before, say hello. Let's probably fix this. Oh, my contacts in, so it's going to be a little bit rough, but just going to get an upper body workout in. Like the stream if you haven't. Tell me how your day is going. Just here hanging out with my dog. Going to get some warm-ups in. Try to be kind to the rotator cuff because it has not been kind to me. The goal here is get a good stretch. Push the chest out. Get the arms way back. And get a good concentric. Controlling the eccentric is a great way of reducing injury potential. And I have to be a little bit more careful with my chest because my rotator cuffs are really bad. I messed up my left one about 2 months ago. I've had a messed up right one for years, since high school. So it is what it is, though. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? Tomorrow night? What do you mean? I can't hear you. Yeah, We'll talk about it later. All right. Like the stream if you haven't already. That'd be awesome. Welcome to the chat. Just getting a upper body workout in today. Chilling out with my buddy. Say hello in the chat if you like dogs. Quiet crowd today. Man. I need to put this a little bit straighter up and down, I think. We're just going to do 8 or so of these. All right. What's up, Naz? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it late for you? Man, 1:44. Why, you must be a night owl. Crazy. What's up? Keep it real. Like the chat, or like the stream if you haven't already. We just got rolling. Naz, what you been up to? Oh my gosh. All right, keep it real. You better keep it low. We'll leave that there. One night all free. Oh boy, jeez. You're just chilling in bed at almost 2 in the morning, watching a workout stream. I can honestly say I've never done that. I don't judge, but to each their own, I suppose. Rotator cuffs are actually feeling pretty good. Last one, and then we'll get into the working sets. Yeah, feels pretty good. Sammy's over here putting the ball in various places. All right, let me get a drink. Stream's been weird lately. It's been like I feel like the first 2 weeks were quite a bit faster, and then pretty much the lately trend has been oh, spill this everywhere. Has been jump on, a few people join. Most of them are trolls. Say something weird or annoying, and then leave. Yeah. Not till Monday. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I got notified about my own stream. I went live, and then I got a notification saying the eccentric scientist is live, which was very weird. I don't know that there's a way to subscribe to yourself. All right, should I do 20s? Yeah, I don't want to do like 20 reps of this. Hang on. Do 17 and a half. That's what we'll do. What's the usual bedtime, Naz? I'm not really a night owl very much. Yeah, that feels better. I feel like if there's any exercise that I have like a flight response to, it's these cable flies because you're opening up your chest so wide. Because I have bad shoulders, it just feels like it's what you're supposed to do to tear some tendons. But it feels pretty good today. I haven't seen Luis slash Lauren. Come on, one more. I'm the only normal one that does lives. That's really unfortunate. That is too bad. More of an early bird, just days off. I gotcha. What do you have? Another bank holiday tomorrow? Life is short. That is true. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Wow, yeah, gross. The slobber. I can't. Can you see that? What are you doing? Crazy. Crazy, crazy. I don't know why I always take my contacts off. Out, off, out, whatever. Ooh. I was in the hotel gym, what, 2 days ago? And the hotel Wi-Fi was down, and then I didn't have my tripod, and so the phone kept falling while I was trying to stream. It was a whole disaster. Yeah, believe it or not, it seems like it because I've been streaming it, but this is pretty much the only time that I spend in here, um, outside of that side, which is more tool storage and stuff like that. But what would I do in my own in my own lab gym? I guess it would have to be like muscle biopsies, right? Get a big old needle and biopsy a quad or something. I decided to start with chest today. Usually I'll go arms first, but then I feel like the triceps kind of get in the way of a good chest workout. So we'll kind of invert it. Same thing with back. We'll go to back next. Because that usually fatigues the biceps a little bit. Um, because work, my clients are all over the place. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much the reason I got clients in a whole bunch of states here, and so some of it is kind of split between planned and unplanned work. Um, Unplanned is like something breaks and then I have to be reactionary. Um, and then planned is kind of what it sounds like. It's like a planned maintenance procedure or a qualification or something like that. Um, so the unplanned work is the tough stuff to deal with when you have to, travel for so much time to get there, and then yeah, it's just hard to be consistent with working out when you're Um, yeah, traveling and in hotels that have a variable amount of gear to work with. Clients, what do you do? Yeah, so I mean, I'm. It's hard to explain what I do, but because I work on the instruments that do like DNA sequencing, I kind of act as like a support person for those instruments, and then my brain is not working today. It's moving like half speed, in case you haven't noticed. It's been a long week. Um, so yeah, like a support person for them. So I have individual clients that I go and support in the research and the testing, the analytics that they need to do, and I'm doing with them. Lazy Beano, he's still hitting them glutes. Um, Glutes were yesterday. Um, they are a little bit sore today, so I think we'll be ready tomorrow though. So you're like a mentor. I would say mentor is a smallish portion. I'm more hands-on, hardware, software, technical engineer sort of thing for the instruments that sequence the DNA, or do fragment analysis for like human identification, stuff like that. Do you warm up your biceps and shoulders before these workouts? I only warm up the muscles that I'm primarily targeting. I don't worry about like secondary or tertiary, um, use. So like when I'm doing chest flies, your front delts are getting a lot of work. But by doing chest flies at a lower weight and repetition range, that's kind of how I warm up. And then I usually kind of, once everything's up and going, I usually kind of cut the warm ups down to 2 sets. So like when I go to biceps, because I've already had like stretch work done on the flies, I won't do like a full on bicep warm up. And same thing, if I'm like working quads, I'll do the 3 set warm up for maybe leg extensions, and then I'll go right into Bulgarian split squats or something like that. And I don't work out uh, or I don't warm up in between those two, just because everything is warm and ready to go already. I feel like my chest is probably my weakest point, and I'm not sure if that's from lack of training or injury or both, I guess, because I've had to really tone it back. Nope. I probably should have dropped the weight to 2.5 for that. Lazy. Hey, everyone's got their goals. Lazy Bean. Do you save up and spend your money wisely? I try to strike a balance. Some people only save and then they miss out having some fun and a good time in their younger years when they're very capable and flexible and all this stuff, particularly physically. So that's kind of, hey, no, that's kind of the reason for spending money. And then, but I kind of err on the side of saving money, particularly with a company 401k sort of thing. So quite a bit of my income goes directly into that. I don't even see it. I haven't for years, and I plan to keep it that way. You seem like a busy man then. No excuses for those that can't work out. I guess the home gym benefits you and makes you. Yes, it does. Home gym can be expensive, Lazy Bean. So I can't buy home gym equipment because I move out a lot. Yeah, Lazy Bean. I actually I started getting the gear for the home gym when I was in an apartment. I actually bought these. I got a 10 set of 10s and a set of 15 dumbbells. Just went to Walmart and grabbed, what is it, Gold's Gym brand. I bought these, 7 years ago when I was in an apartment, and a really cheap, like $40 flat bench. Actually, it was flat incline decline now that I think about it. Um, so, yeah, I got that for the apartment. It was like 500 square feet. But yeah, I didn't use it consistently back then, but I started accumulating the stuff when I was in an apartment. So there are definitely a lot of things you could do. Yeah, I mean, the gear I have here is going to last a really long time. Like probably literally outlast me. Um, when you're talking about 12 gauge steel for the power rack and similar similar gauge thickness for these, the functional trainer. Should I drop it by? Yeah, let's drop it 2.5. Um, it's an investment just like anything else, and so you just have to decide where to put your money. I do the same thing for tools. I usually buy, unless it's super niche, I'll buy like a cheap tool if it's like a super niche project. But typically, I try to buy tools and implements that will last for decades. Yeah, let me answer that, Naz, after this one. How's the weather? Is it hot? It is finally cooling down a little bit. It says it's 83 Fahrenheit in the garage, which feels about right. But it's been like 95 in here the last few times I've been working out in here, and that's just no fun. I do this dumb thing when I'm getting to the end. It's kind of involuntary of like bouncing my legs just to try to mitigate the pain. Got to the bottom of that one, and that was absolutely not. Um, why did I choose to have a dog? So, got a cat first. Again, that was in the apartment. Less flexibility with your current setup's probably good to have more flexibility with whatever you're getting. So the cat is pretty self sufficient. Um, she kind of just does her thing. She's pretty cool, sort of. Um, and then I wanted to get a dog once I moved to a house that had a yard. And I've always wanted a German Shepherd. It's been my dream dog for my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. And so once I got enough space to be able to run her around as she would want to do, and as she does, being a very active breed, um, went and picked her up. Like musical chairs. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they listen very well. She can be really stubborn sometimes. So I have to do a little bit of remedial training with her. Um, but overall, she's a fantastic dog, and listens very well and learns tricks incredibly quickly. Um, pretty smart dog in general. All right, let me move this. She's stubborn like you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Your people's way of being affectionate is so different, you know. Match made in heaven. Yeah. All right. I I want to know why you think that I'm stubborn. Nope. So just, I don't know, for funsies, there's this thing that I learned a little bit further, where if you, a lot of people, if you're doing crossbody lateral raises with a cable like this, they will drop the handle all the way down. But if you keep the handle at extended arm's length, so put your arm down and put the handle down where your cable is from, that will really help to keep a lot of tension in the strengthened. Oh my word, words are failing me tonight. In the stretched position of the muscle, so delt is really stretched when it's all the way across your body, and so by having it there instead of down there, you have even more stretch across the target muscle than if you were to put it down below. So instead of pets, I only have plants. Hey, that's okay. Natural takes time to build muscles. That is for sure. No one's ever accused me of not being natty. That is something I'm learning every day. It's been 14 months of working out, maybe 8 months of working out consistently. And that whole time, been eating about my body weight and protein. And I have recomposed quite a bit. I'm way more muscular at 151 pounds than I was at 160 pounds a year and a half ago. But it does take time. That's it. Why do I feel like you are very British? You relate easily and your accent is not strong. What do you mean my accent is not strong? My American accent? Whoa, that didn't feel good. Hmm. Something felt a little off on that one. Maybe I just came into the concentric without taking the tension out. Woo! I don't know about that. We'll see. Cables can hurt. Any exercise is going to involve risk. Oh man, what is going on there? I'd have to bail on that one. Let's drop the weight and see if we're still getting the same symptom here. That feels okay. I don't know, maybe just had a twinge. We'll see. Malfunction. Yeah, true. Nope. Something's not right. Well, that's frustrating, but you gotta listen to your body. Sort of like eating. Don't just eat because you feel like maybe you're supposed to eat. I wish that you would love the UK. You would get on with people, as they say. House on fire. What does house on fire mean? Oh man. You should do calisthenics too. Calisthenics are not the best way of building muscle. They certainly do. Calisthenics preferentially target aerobic fitness and for sure strength. But in terms of muscular hypertrophy, calisthenics are not, the best way to do it. Integrating calisthenics into a program can be awesome, especially if you're doing anything other than just hypertrophy-based weightlifting. Resistance training, I guess, would be a more specific or more general term. But I'm going to try some dumbbell laterals instead. Could just be that I have some weird thing going on with bringing the arm across and loading it. So I'm going to try that. And if that's still bad, we're going to bail on the shoulders for tonight. Is it your right or left rotator cuff that's sore? It felt like biceps tendonitis inside, like pretty deep. But I guess it could be so your rotator cuff, there are three major muscles. The infraspinatus wraps under your armpit and inserts in the front of your humerus. And so my guess is that's probably because, doing this motion is what's going to activate the rotator cuff and all the way around underneath. Um, yeah. Stronger than bodybuilders. That's a pretty general statement. It depends. Um, it depends on the bodybuilder. It depends on the calisthenics person. I think it's probably impossible without an actual true data set to analyze whether or not calisthenics are stronger than bodybuilders. So unless you got data, they do quite the bulk. When you do more difficult moves, it depends on if you enjoy them or not. Yes, that's 100% true. Send it. Send the data. I want to see it. I'm a scientist. Yes, I'm a big fan. Like some people kind of they poo-poo some people's workout methodology because they're like, oh, that's not optimum, bro. And it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you have to um, enjoy what you're doing. Like if you hate going to the gym and you hate every single lift you do, it's just not going to work. Like you can only be so masochistic before you're just like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. Like it's just there's an upper limit to this, and it's not um, it's not hating every single time you go to the gym. There has to be some enjoyment of it. That feels pretty good on the right side. So maybe it was just the crossbody that was problematic. Ugh. I don't prefer this exercise just because there is no stretch at the bottom, but if it's in lieu of a little bit of a twang in my shoulder, I'm here for it. I will tell you what, I've enjoyed the heck out of eating more lately. Um, Coming off that, we are chilling, remember? Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with chilling, but if we're gonna make a very clear, positive statement about something, I want to see what's backing it up. So there is no chilling when evidence is involved, man. No chilling. It's your bank holiday. If I was visiting the UK, give me the top 3 places that I should go if I like active things like hiking, rucking, hiking, backpacking, camping, all of the above, whatever. I love coffee. Sorry, I like tea, but I almost never drink it. Coffee. I like a good brew, as maybe people from is that UK that says brew? Have a brew? I can't remember. We just say beer. But I like a beer here and there. Especially love bourbon, but that's not really a UK thing. So yeah. Anyways, outdoor stuff. I love seeing really old stuff. Like I want to see castles at some point. So yeah, give me maybe top 3 if you would. That'd be awesome. In terms of raw power and the ability to lift heavy weights, bodybuilding often comes out on top. However, when it comes to functional strength, relative strength in relation to body size. Yeah, I could see that. Bodybuilding is not particularly athletic, in my opinion. There are some athletic bodybuilders, but it's not a really athletic thing to do, whereas calisthenics does involve quite a bit more athleticism. So the whole relative strength, I could absolutely see that. Like pound for pound strength, definitely possible there. Um, my scientist hat is staying in. Yes, it doesn't leave once you're in. That's it. I've heard from other people that my accent is very flat. Um, People in the middle of the United States have um, a flattish accent. Let me finish this sentence. I'll explain a little bit more. Hey, There we go. Yeah, so I mean, if you're from the U.S. and you're well traveled, the U.S. is so big. I mean, you have the EU, which I mean, I can drive for what 40 hours and still be in the United States. Like if I were to drive a straight line from the East Coast to the West Coast, you could drive for like 2 straight days without stopping and still be in the U.S. There's so much space. So there's just a whole lot of variability within the U.S. in terms of culture and traditions, and especially, sorry, my dog is wedging herself underneath the mower. There's a lot of variability with dialect, especially. So, like, I always give for instance, so um, in the Midwest, which is this, the central portion of the United States, think Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, those states would say water. That's how the Midwest would say it. In the Northeast, like Massachusetts area, um, they would say wada, which is curious. And then right below them in Pennsylvania, they say wooder. And then down south, the Southeast, they'd say wada, right? Like all the different ways of just saying one word just within the U.S. And there are a whole bunch more. I don't know what West Coast, water. Anyways, so yeah, great and smooth. Okay, I'll take it. You need to go to Scotland to enjoy the walks, hiking, outdoor activities, London to enjoy the city life, beer, etc. Birmingham to enjoy culture and your butter chicken and naan. Nice. Birmingham. Sweet. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. I've always wanted to go to Scotland. I got to do that at some point. I want to see those the balds, with the crazy vistas. Where I'm from, whenever I go backpacking or camping, there just really isn't any of that. You're backpacking in the woods, and there are pros and cons. Like if you're backpacker or a camper, like man, if you're camping on a bald, like on the top of a mountain where it's real flat, the wind is brutal all night. It's amazing because you get these crazy vistas and really cool views. But then uh, in the areas where I'm in, it's really forested typically. And so you're camping in the woods and you don't realize how much the woods cut the wind, and it cuts down on just how much you have to deal with the wind. So pros and cons for sure. When you're camping in the woods, I didn't realize this until I camped not in the woods. I camped on a bald. The next night I went camping, backpacking with a friend in Virginia, and we camped on a bald the first night, and then we camped in the woods the second night, and I felt like I was in Lord of the Rings on the second night when we walked in. It was a bunch of birch trees. It was really beautiful. And then moss, the birch grow in a certain way that kind of allow for good moss ground cover. And so it was just the coolest place to jump off and set up camp for the night. It was really awesome. Um, yeah, so the specifics of creatine in terms of like molecularly how it helps performance, I'm not exactly sure, Naz. I know that creatine loads into your muscles over time, and nearly nobody gets a quote unquote optimum amount of creatine. They've done a ton of studies to show that it does. It's probably one of the very few supplements that truly does help with muscle pumps, is one of the things that people report significantly increased. And then just the amount of muscle growth per unit of effort. So almost nobody eating a regular diet. So they recommend creatine monohydrate 5 grams per day. Typically, it depends on your weight. If you're like a really petite person, you could probably do 2 to 3 grams. If you're really large, maybe you're closer to the 10 gram, but 5 grams is kind of like the general general thing. After 3 weeks of taking 5 grams of creatine, it'll be fully loaded into your muscle cells, and that's about as much of a benefit as you're going to get. Um, you could do a loading phase where you take 10 or 15 grams. A lot of people have gastrointestinal issues with that. But you could take 10 to 15 grams a day and load it into your muscles in a week. So it's just a way of fast tracking it. But if you're trying to do it long term, just take your 5 grams, and it'll take 3 weeks to do it. I actually went on creatine. One of the things that it does is it increases your water weight retention. I guess for a period of time, some people keep the water weight, other people gain it and then lose it. What's up, Hades? Welcome to the chat. So I was sitting at 163 pounds, and this was like October, August, September, maybe October of last year. And I started taking creatine. I took it for 3 weeks, and I went all within what was it, like 4 weeks. I went from 162 to 172 pounds, which was the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. And that was really interesting experience. There's a normal distribution of responders. There's hyper responders, people that do really well on creatine. I may be in that category, and then there's people that I think it's about 10 to 20% of people are like non-responders to creatine, which is really interesting if you think about it. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel on creatine. Creatine monohydrate is probably the most well-researched supplement for fitness. So if you're going to jump on something, that would probably be the one. Depends who your camping mate is. They should be able to protect you from the wind. Being protected from the wind sounds interesting. To be honest, I'm far more concerned about being protected from bears than the wind. Can you also tell us with vitamin D? I don't know much about vitamin D. I've heard a lot, but I haven't done a lot of research myself, and so I don't. I know generally populations are deficient in vitamin D, and I can't recall off the top of my head. I know I listened to one podcast that talked about vitamin D supplementation with regard to like muscle hypertrophy training, and so, but I don't think I can give you much more information than that right now. Supplements, how long does it take to load into the body? That completely depends on the supplement. Some supplements aren't going to load at all. Like there won't be a loading phase. It's just crushed my ankle bone on that. You're going to take it in. It's fat or water soluble, and you're going to excrete it or store it. Creatine is specific in that, kind of like glucogen. You can eat a whole bunch of carbs to be able to load glucogen into your muscles for use. And creatine monohydrate is a similar way. It's just that the amount of creatine that's recommended for optimum muscle building results is higher than almost anyone could get. You get your biggest bolus of creatine from red meats, and very few people eat red meats every day or even a sufficient quantity of red meat every day. So that's why it's probably best to supplement with it. Hades, you keep up just fine. Did I have one? I don't remember. I think I had one yesterday when I got home. I don't remember. I had a short stream. Oh yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I got in, like I actually got my head around getting into the gym, and like 4 sets in, I was like, I am not at all feeling it. And so I decided to listen to my body. I had traveled the night before, and then literally I came home for 4 hours and then left again to stay in a hotel last night. Now I'm back home again. Lengthen partials here. Just to kind of gas out the muscles a little bit. Woo. If you haven't liked the stream already, that'd be awesome. Just double tap. We're getting some subscribers in here lately. I can't quite decode like what makes for a good stream that, a lot of people join. Not a lot, but I mean, you guys have been around for a while. Um, some streams I'll have like an average of 10 viewers, which is a lot. And then other streams, it's just a couple of you old faithful in here. And I can't quite decode like why that is. I've tried writing different descriptions and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's all just a learning process. Naz, do you take any supplements? All right. Let's do some lat prayers. And then we'll do arms. And that will do it. Ugh. All right, I'm going to strap in for this. I'm just imagining counting on your friend to block the wind for you while you're camping. There was a trip that I took, it was a couple of years ago, where I was just kind of getting into some of the backpacking, but it wasn't even really backpacking. It was more rucking, because we brought in like axes and saws so we could process our own wood, make a campfire, cook some steaks, stuff like that. It was not lightweight backpacking by any means. But we knew it was going to get a little bit chilly that night. And my friend kind of insisted on bringing a large tent that we knew probably wasn't going to hold up with the rain fly. And of course, as we were cooking our meal that evening, it started to rain. And so I go back to the tent, and it had rained on the top of the fly, and then it was not waterproof. And I'm not even kidding. It was raining more inside the tent than it was outside the tent, because it had caught the water and started to just pour in. So all of our gear got wet. Our sleeping bags, our little inflatable pillows got soaking wet. And then, of course, that night, it got down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just slightly below freezing. And I've never been that cold in my life. We had cold, wet gear to sleep inside of. And then it got down to 30 degrees. Literally unzip the tent, and there's ice on the tent. I remember getting up in the middle of the night. We were laying on our sides. What we ended up doing was I brought my 2-person tent, a small North Face tent. And if you know tents, when they give you a person rating, it's like average sized person crammed into this tent. There isn't room for gear. It's small, really small. So I brought my North Face 2-person tent, and we pitched it inside of his 8-person Coleman tent, and then threw the fly over it so we could at least stay dry during the night. And I remember laying there just like shivering. And I'm not even kidding. We spooned that night. It was so close. But neither of us cared at all, because we were just happy to not be getting soaked while it was raining. So like literally we're laying there, and he had at one point rolled over so we were facing each other. Our faces were probably that close together. And I opened my eyes, and he's like laying there with his head on the ground, just kind of like staring blankly at the ground. And I was like, "You awake, man?" And he was just like, he just like groaned at me. And he was like, "I gotta piss." So literally, he gets out, I get out, and to do our business. And I've never, I mean, just literally jackhammer shivering. I've never been that cold in my whole life. Just it was crazy, pretty wild. Um, yes, so the weather, we've gotten so much better at camping. We have better gear to stay dry, all of that stuff. Um, And so it's less of an issue. I'm not as worried about the cold or the wet anymore, because I have gear rated down to the right cold level. But that was at a time where I did not have a lot of money, and and so we didn't buy a lot of stuff. So we froze our asses off that night. Tyler, what's up, man? Versagrips are the best. Yes, I like them. I was using Amazon, kind of cheap $25 Amazon grips for a while, but they were just like hooks. But these Versagrips actually allow you to cam into the bar, and then it's real sticky. So, um, what survival skills do you have if you were camping and there is a bear? What would you do? Let me do a set here, Naz, and we'll talk about that. There are definitely some uh, techniques for bear deterrence and bear survival, I guess. So let's get a warm up in here. The goal here is stand up a little bit at the end to get a lat squeeze. Bend over at the bottom to get a good stretch. If you haven't figured out that that's like uh, a big thing for me is getting a stretch on that eccentric. If you've been around for more than a stream or two, you know that it is. That left shoulder's feeling a little iffy, but I'm not too worried about any acute issues. Feels kind of like normal level of slight instability. I love lat prayers personally. It's kind of a different move, but I really enjoy it. Um, gives a bear deterrent advisement. Okay, I'll do. I I wouldn't even do David Attenborough the disservice of trying to imitate him. And my British accent is awful anyway. So um, it's important to know what kind of bear you might encounter in a certain region. So in most of the U.S., it's going to be black bear, American black bear, and only in I think 2 states total. I want to say maybe Wyoming and Montana, maybe. Don't quote me on that. Is where you'll find brown bear, grizzly bear, um, and then obviously we don't have polar bear around here. So knowing which sort of bear you might encounter is a huge part of how you plan for your camping trip. I happen to be, I've camped in an area that has the highest per capita grizzly bear, oh, sorry, not grizzly, black bear population in the whole world in this area. And so we set up camp, went down to a reservoir, and you could see bear tracks all over the place. What's up, Addison? Welcome, welcome. Like the stream if you haven't already. That'd be awesome. We're just getting an upper body workout in here, chatting about all kinds of stuff. So anyways, that was really, really big with black bear. I have not camped in an area with grizzly bear, but in general, bear don't attack humans, not even grizz. They can, and so do black bear, but like the instance of black bear attacks are incredibly low. I was in Tennessee one time on a nature sort of hike guide thing, and the guide was like, "Really, you're gonna if you encounter a black bear, you're gonna see the ass end running away from you, typically." Um, yes, perfect. It was an amazing spot, Naz. It was incredible. Great memories made from that trip. We had some very interesting things happen while we were out there, and yeah, it was. Grant, what's up? Welcome back, man. Yeah, that was an interesting trip. We literally, me and my buddy hiked to the reservoir, and you could track the different animal tracks, and there was some sort of takedown of a deer. So you could see where the deer were bedded down by the watering hole, and then you could see the tracks leading away, and then you could see where stuff went down, and then there was a carcass at the end of it, and you could track it all the way. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what took it down because it was not a black bear that did, but something definitely smoked a deer and ate it out there. But yeah, that was a really cool trip. Really, black bear stuff, if you're hiking in Appalachia, any of the southeast, stuff like that, hanging a bear bag. That's the biggest thing. So you have a bag, all of your trash, all of your smelly stuff goes into the bag. You tie some paracord, chuck it around a tree that's at least, what is it, at least 10 feet in the air and at least 4 feet off the main side of the tree so they can't crawl up and just grab the bag. Um, and then as long as you have it hung out of the way, they won't typically trek into your camp. Although it's not an impossible thing to have happen. So um, so yeah, that's what I would say. And then we always carry bear spray. Um, I have it rigged onto our packs, so especially when we're mobile, it's not as big of a deal when you're set down somewhere and you're just chilling out for the night. But when you're mobile and you might kind of walk up on something, both of us have a can of bear spray carabiner onto our backpacks. So, and if you've ever seen bear spray being deployed, it is wild. It's like 10 times spicier than police officer capsaicin spray, and man, it is. It's like 30-foot range. Great tips shared. Not like I will encounter a black bear in the UK, but good to know is you never know. Are there any bear in the UK? I don't. I don't know. I feel like I get a really good burn with lap prayers. Feel the metabolite build up really well in the middle of the set. So bear spray more spicy than my mom's chicken vindaloo. Vindaloo? I've never heard that. I would have to try your mom's spicy chicken vindaloo. It sounds amazing. What what is that? Is that Indian? Question mark. My glutes to push through. I wasn't even thinking about my glutes. I'm just thinking about making sure that I'm getting a stretch and then getting a squeeze. I'm sure the glutes are involved somewhat. It doesn't hurt my back too much. Just a little bit of the, yeah, it's not bad. What? What are you looking at? This is my, I can see my rib cage. Yeah, everyone's got a rib cage. All right. What are you doing? Come here. You just do everything. All right. Let's get another set in here. Still want to know what chicken vindaloo is. Sounds like it could be Indian. Yeah, she's a goof. Goof, goof, goof. Uh, 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 Oy. Sank into the Versa grips a little bit there. I hadn't been relying on them until 2 reps ago. And now I can feel the back really well. I'm barely holding onto the bar because I don't have to. And I'm just focusing and driving my elbows back. Ugh. Ugh. All right. It is a hot curry basic. Okay, yeah. Oh, I love curry so much. I don't think I've had a curry that I haven't liked. There's this. I was out in California for work. Um, Southern California is known for Mexican food, with its proximity to the border, and so I mean, I'll go and just get Mexican food like every day when I'm down there, out there. Um, and But I did find a place that had amazing curry. Amazing for me. I don't, I've only recently started eating. I think the first time I had Indian food was maybe a few years ago. Didn't really have it growing up, um, but man, I love some curry. One good thing about your work is you know your limits, and when you feel enough is enough, you stop and then do when you're ready. Best way for injury prevention. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Try to be intentional. I feel like I'm too old to just do the whole "no, just lift weights, bro." Using your skull is probably a better way to do it. Some quesadillas sound bomb right now. Yeah, that's for sure. Mexican food's so good. Hades, are you over your cough and cold? You back at it? Or you're still in recovery mode? Yeah, Naz, when I trained with a friend one summer, and that was in college. And I kind of look back at some of the stuff that we did, and it wasn't like the programming wasn't that good. It wasn't there. The nutrition definitely wasn't there. There was no focus on protein at all. So we didn't really make any serious gains during that summer, unfortunately. But the stuff that we did was just like not paying attention to your body, not looking at recovery signals at all, like when you might need a break, even outside of the workouts, coming into one, or within a workout where you feel something maybe twinges a little bit, and you're like, I don't know how that felt. Um, so yeah, I there's a if you drop the ego, you're kind of free to do a lot of other stuff, and it's better that way. Still coughing, but feeling better, and it's just dragging on, but slowly getting better. Nice. Um, I get a lot of foot cramps nocturnal or when I exercise. Interesting. Interesting. I guess it depends. Are you talking like the arch of your foot or what? That's usually if people have cramps, that's usually where it is because that's kind of the span of the belly of the muscle there. Um, it's really just tenderness. In college, I remember we dissected two humans for a whole year. It was a 2 semester course, and I remember I was made an incision from his elbow all the way to his wrist, and then sort of passed to the knuckles, and then just worked on reflecting the skin back. So our goal was to, essentially work superficial to deep in the body, and so you'd reflect layers of skin first. So then you'd see some of the musculature, some of the deeper musculature, then into the bones and some of the arteries and stuff like that. But one of my distinct memories I have is in the hands and in the feet. When you reflected the skin on the back of the hands, it it was amazing because the tendons just looked like super flat white rubber bands, which is kind of what you would think. They have to run. Your extensor tendons on the back of your finger are what moves your finger like that. Your flexors on the front near towards your palms flexes your fingers like that. So you'd expect them in this sort of anatomical thing to be flat, but it was just really amazing once we reflected all the skin and literally kind of degloved his hand. You could just see every single tendon that connected through, and it was just like little, it was like little puppet master, tiny little tendons. But you know, same thing for the foot. It's a lot of tendinous stuff down there. Arch or the toes? Yeah, interesting. I guess it depends on what you're doing. If it's like movement related or if it's like a biochemical issue. So sometimes if I move weird, you know, you get like a toe cramp. But uh, you know, so that could be like biomechanics. So you might want to just avoid doing that movement if you're just walking around, or you know, some people literally just be walking around and they'll get a Charlie horse in their hamstring or something. You know, you could check into, you know, making sure you're hydrated properly. One thing that might help is magnesium. Every once in a while, I'll take magnesium glycinate. It is a slow digesting magnesium, so it's not as bad on your digestive system. So something to keep in mind. But again, consult with your doctor. I'm not a medical professional. Is body preserved for thousands? Yeah. So you believe you can preserve a body for this long? You're a scientist, no pressure. Yeah. So there are definitely cases. They're not preserved like if the pharaoh was to come alive and walk up, you wouldn't be like, that's a normal human being. Like they still look weird. But in some cases, based on the environment, and I believe the pharaohs back in the day were embalmed. And so if you were to kind of combine very dry, um, sort of properly humidified, and then the embalming procedure with like no what would you call it, like variation in the environment, it's definitely possible to have the preservation be to that extent. So I don't know a ton about that. You know, that's not my area of expertise for sure. But it's, yeah, there are definitely some funky ways that people can be preserved. But again, they don't really look like, they wouldn't look like a healthy human being if it suddenly came alive and walked up to you, you know? One thing that I hate from that dissection lab is the smell of formalin. It's a analog of formaldehyde, but the formalin smell, even though the lab air was recirculated I think it was every 60 seconds, the whole room got new air. When we cracked open those body bags, oh man, it was not a pleasant smell. If I think about it, I can literally smell it in my nose. Our guy, this is kind of gross. Our guy had a condition that affected the connective tissues in his brain. So typically, so you have your skull, the cranium, some people call it the calvernium. Yeah, let me finish this first, and then we'll talk about it. Hey, hey, hey. Had a bit of a swing on that one. Hey. Oh, that's it. Man. Sometimes train my wrist with a barbell 20 pounds and try to do curls in my wrist. Yeah, that's a good way. So you could do your flexors. The forearms are really cool actually because when you get a pump in your forearms, they look absolutely insane. So I will sometimes attach a resistance band to the barbell here and then tie a 35-pound dumbbell to the bottom and literally just roll the barbell up so it raises the weight. Then you can do it in the reverse. And holy moly, if you do 5 sets of those, your forearms are going to be absolutely blown up. And if you're British and you have typically standard distribution, of course, but if you're of British descent, your forearms are jacked anyway. So that goes all the way back to the War of the Roses, where literally the Brits, it was cool when they were fighting the French. I think it was the French, right? War of the Roses? I can't remember. Or was that civil? I can't remember. That was too long ago. But War of the Roses, there was one battle where the Brits were outnumbered, and I believe the ratio was 1-4 or 1-3. There was a huge discrepancy in the numbers of troops, and but the British had their base on this castle wall, and so the invading enemy was coming in, and the Brits, because at the time especially, we've gotten taller since then, but at the time especially, the Brits were known for being a little bit short and very stocky, particularly with the forearms and the arm strength. That's just kind of like how the genetics um, shook out. And so the Brits developed the very first longbow, if I remember, I think it was the first one, but the first longbow, and I believe the pull on it was 160 pounds. So for reference, this is a recurve bow. That's just a piece of wood with a string, and then they essentially, in order to get it that heavy of a pull, they literally stuck. It was this crazy tall bow that was taller than they were. They would stick the bottom in the castle ground. They'd lean back, pull this thing all the way back, 160-pound pull, and launch arrows, literally lob formation into the invading enemy. And they destroyed the enemy doing that. They literally just lobbed these crazy bolts across the battlefield and absolutely destroyed and won that battle because they had developed this crazy longbow. And in part because the British have crazy forearm and upper body musculature to be able to do that crazy pull. And the bolts would go through armor. So kind of a cool um, thing. I love that sort of thing. Being a genetics scientist, I love that sort of thing where there's like even a 10% differential in distribution in terms of like forearm musculature or something like that compared to somebody from, I don't know, Switzerland or whatever. Not picking on Switzerland, but um, you know, you get it. There's a differential in your genetics, and it's cool to see how it's been employed over time. Sometimes train, yes, it's good that you have a general understanding of my random questions. Some people have no clue apart from their own interests. You have a wide knowledge in all areas. Yeah, I try to diversify a bit. I am 26. Can I start working out? 10 years ago, bro. Sunil, get it? Yeah, absolutely. It's never too late to start working out. I don't care if you're 80 years old. You can ease yourself into it. Don't go ham. Don't get in the gym and be like, I'm gonna do 15 sets of biceps right away. That's a good way to quit. Start low volume. Focus on 2 sets per muscle group when you get in there. Tell yourself I'm getting to the gym 2 times this week, hell or high water, or 3 times. Don't tell yourself you're going to the gym 6 or 7 days a week. Starting out, you want to build a little bit of a habit and then go from there. So I think British look like Humpty Dumptys. No, it's the opposite. Humpty Dumpty is like really, really big in the middle, and then stick arms, right? I'm not a Humpty Dumpty expert, but I think it's the opposite. British people, like if you see Chris Williamson, he's kicking off on YouTube. He has a podcast. That dude's arms, his forearms are insane. And yeah, he's jacked because he's worked out for over a decade. But holy cow, his forearms are absolutely massive compared to, relative to the rest of his musculature. It's crazy. So, all right, that was 3 sets. We're gonna go with that. That puts us at seven sets so far. Only kidding. How will I look in my 40s if I don't miss a single gym day? I wouldn't recommend going to the gym every day. That sounds like a great way to either burn out or injure yourself pretty badly and have to quit for long periods of time. And so I would recommend against going to the gym every day. That's number 1. And number 2, it is impossible for me to know in 14 years how you're going to look. You will make a ton of progress in the first 2 years if you go to the gym consistently, though. By the time you're 28 years old, you can transform your body if you're doing a few fundamental things well. Going to the gym consistently, getting a sufficient amount of protein. That's 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Sorry, Naz, I don't know what the kilogram. I think it's 1.7 kilograms per Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. All right, let's get biceps and triceps in. We're gonna superset these, and then gonna be done. I feel like I go back and forth between hating working out arms and loving working out arms. Where do I get my apparel? Hades. Fun fact: I freaking hate buying clothes. I hate spending money on clothes. Um, I am cheap when it comes to clothes. I don't wear brand names because they're brand names. I have one Gymshark tank, and it was a gift. Um, so yeah, I just hate it. I buy off Amazon, or if there's like a good deal in a store. Walmart's great. This when did I get this? I think this was Amazon. It came in like a 4-pack. Just look up like exercise athletic t-shirt or something. Same thing with these shorts. I bought 2 pairs of these shorts off Amazon. I think they were like 25 bucks a piece, which is still aggravatingly expensive to me. Um, and so, yeah, bought 2 pairs of these shorts about a year and a half ago, and then liked them so much that I bought 3 more pairs. So yes, Naz, they are orange, not red, orange shorts. And yeah, I have some of these shorts now are like my working outside shorts, so they're not particularly nice, but yeah, money saved, I see. Yeah, everyone's got different priorities for what they feel like they should spend money on. I don't really judge people for spending money on clothes, but I do judge you if you spend a crap ton of money on clothes and then you're like, I'm so broke. It's like, maybe buy cheaper clothes. I will not rant. I like the orange ones. They look like UK traffic light. I like the orange ones too. I feel like it changes it up from the boring. How do you like my monochrome gym outfit today? This is what happens when you work out at home. There's a wonderful lack of giving a shit about. Although the irony of streaming online to any potential stranger is not lost on me compared to going to the gym. Whatever, you get it. Ugh. So because we've gotten some back workout in, I'm gonna do one warm up set and then get right into it. Things are feeling good. Elbows feel good. Tendons down there feel good. All right. Gym supplements are cool. I like the orange ones. GP, GP on. Do your superset. Yes, I will do my superset. Where's my? Ooh, should we do some myo-rep match sets? I did a poll the other day, and nobody seemed like nobody knew what a myo-rep match was. I pretty much only employ the myo-rep match in arm training. Sometimes shoulders. You could do it back too. Really, any non-compound movement is definitely a good contender. What you doing? All right, that's good enough warm up. She's just chilling. Hi. If you give her attention when she's wanted to play, she will just immediately do this. And oh, ouch! She bit me by accident because I was holding the ball at mouth level, and that's totally on me, um, not on. Ouch! Not on her. What age do you see yourself married? Um, I don't know, 90s, something. No, I think by the time I'm in my 80s, I'll be mature enough, and then I'll give it another 10-ish years, so maybe 90s. I think. Uh, Why? What do you think is a good age to get married? Surprise dog, yes. Oh, this feels heavy already. Sometimes you just hold the weight, and it's like, oh man. Naz, he chose to not discuss this. Oh, it's all good. If I don't want to discuss it, I won't. But 90s for sure. We'll go with 90 years old. Naz has the official troublemaker. If I could like award stickers, Naz would get the official troublemaker of the Eccentric Scientist channel. Hades would get like most faithful watcher. I feel like you're here every single stream, bro. I love it. Me. Come on. This was supposed to be 3 reps in reserve this week. That is not going well. I have you. I have YouTube rights. No rights whatsoever. Okay. I really got to do something about this wall. I feel like it looks so ugly. At least paint it, you know? At some point, I'll find the time. I think 90s is pushing it. I think no more than 40s marriage should be considered. Wow. So you do have a sharp cutoff then, huh? So what happens after 40 years old? You're just ineligible? Somebody marks on your driver's license, unable to be married? Sorry, I cracked myself. I'm thinking about like a government just being like, nope, that's it. Sorry, you failed. Try again next life. I've known people that have been single for over 55 years and then they found their person. Nope. That might have been a little. Um, Thank you. I look forward to your live streams all day as long as I'm alive and watching live. Appreciate it. Yeah, see, Naz, I never know what cheeky means. It's like a catch-all British term. I got nothing. I had braces appointment today. My teeth are sore. Yeah, man. I remember those days. Hang tough. I had an expander back in the day where they would attach 4 pieces to your mouth. My palate was like this, and the expander was supposed to force my palate more flat. And so you um, go and crank it with a little tool every day. And so I sucked on ice for a while every time because it was just painful. So don't chew on the ice, but maybe pop some in. Hades, can you tell me how the Chiefs game is going? Naz, I'd ask you, but I don't think you care about American football. Could be wrong. But that is an assumption, I guess. Yeah, dude. Good for you, man. Those things are no joke. Ay. Oh. That's it. Okay. Oh, Hades, I was asking if you could tell me what the score of the Chiefs game. Your gym noises are all. I know, I know. Everyone's got their signature "I'm in pain" noises. Um, what? Why are you staring at me like that? Yeah, Hades, I was asking if you could tell me what the score of the Chiefs game is. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, we're supersetting. I'm talking too much. I had a friend who his gym noises were just going all the time. I'll do that at the end of like a really hard leg set, but his was like that every time. Ugh, I forgot to drop the weight on this. Dang it. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Nope. 7-13 Chiefs in the league. Cool. Good question. Like, oh, there you go. Why do you say poppy? Is that a typo or is that a British thing? Do you mean puppy? Or is that like the way British people say puppy? I don't know. Thanks, Hades. Appreciate that. I'm gonna catch the rest of the game after this. All right, back to biceps. Ready? 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 Mm. All right. All right. All right. She loves to play tug. Absolutely loves it. You just got to keep your hands out of the way of the teeth. Oh no, her name is Sam. Samantha. Poppy. How unimaginative do you think I am? I'm pretty unimaginative, to be fair. Oh, okay. Existential crisis. Here we go. I'm gonna try to keep my arms out in front of me a little bit more. I feel like I stopped doing that last set. Oh, and it hurts already. If I get over 5 reps in the set, though, that's good. 5 to 30, the hypertrophy range, with a little bit of wiggle. Ooh. It's not like you won't build muscle otherwise, but that's it. Should have held on to that one a little bit longer. Maybe I'll play in later. Just watching the game, to be honest. Um, Thought about doing a guitar stream tonight, but I'm not quite feeling it. Maybe tomorrow night. Poppy, I know it's a common dog name in the UK. Oh, okay, interesting. Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson. Let me do this set. I forgot. I keep forgetting that I'm supersetting this stuff. At least trying to, not very successfully, apparently. Dropped the weight 10 pounds on this. So it's a little bit more of a grind to get more reps in. But I like to kind of shoot for that 10 to 15 range for arms. That's it. Oh, it's getting out of here. Hades the barbecue was really good. I ruined, so I did three pork shoulders, butts technically. I ruined one of them. So I stayed up all night. I got up at I did that stream late, and then till up like 1 in the morning, and then I prepped them like seasoning and trimming and all that. I prepped them for about an hour and got the smoker going, and then got the meat on by about 2:15 a.m. I slept for 2 hours, and then got up and kind of continued the process. So, Metric Sphinx, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Like the stream if you haven't already, that'd be awesome. So yeah, it's a whole process. You have to get to a certain temperature, and then the stuff stalls, and you have to wrap it. And then I messed it up by wrapping it and putting it in a boat, so it literally boiled one of the pieces of meat. So that was no good at all. So I ended up running to the store at like 7 in the morning, grabbing another one, and it was a whole thing. But it was fun. Had 30 people over, bunch of friends, bunch of people from the neighborhood. It was so much fun. It was a good time. I think that clock behind you is an hour off. It is, and I don't know how. I have no idea how that happened. One day I came in and it was off, so I don't get it. When will I do another dinner party? Maybe when Eccentric Scientist hits 100,000 subs, Naz. When this channel, all due to, oh my gosh, dude, seriously? All to the support of people. Maybe we'll have a big Eccentric Scientist cookout, and that'd be fun. That'd be a good time. We're only 98,900 and change away from that. So we're so close. We're so close. Tell your friends. So, Metric Sphinx, you are invited too. And when I get an invite to the dinner party, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody. I mean, we could chill out. Once it gets even bigger, 1 million subs, we can do a multinational dinner party where like we all fly to the UK. We're chilling out, I don't know, on a hill somewhere in Switzerland. I don't, just eating good food, chilling out, pretending like we're working out. Who knows? So yeah, we're gonna need a few more subs for that though, and then we'll get the merch going. We'll put Sam's face on the merch. Start living the life of a fugazi YouTuber. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sphinx. A few more subs and I'm gone. Yeah. I think if I were to put out a PSA, no one would come. We're going to need like a way bigger sample size of people where our error bars are a lot. Right now, if I were to put out a PSA, the error bars would be like plus 100 people and minus 100 people. Whereas if I had 100,000 subs, it would be like you're probably going to get between 20 and 300 people. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense or not. It's been a long week. All right. Last set of this. I am over it. Make it a good one. Usually, my last set, if I think about it, even if I'm doing 3 or 2 or 1 reps in reserve for the week, I will go ahead and just. Oh, that's my light telling me that the battery's running out. I'll go ahead and just go 0 reps in reserve for the very last set. So, New Zealand's far away. Hey, I'll fly there. Oh man, that sounds amazing. 10 loyal subs at 10,000 subs. This isn't a study. Yeah. No, but it is reality, Nast. 10,000 subs. Maybe it'd be kind of cool to do like maybe a virtual party. I don't know if we can convince our UK and New Zealand friends to fly to the US for a 10,000 sub eccentric scientist party. But one day when we get there, you guys can wear a cardboard sign saying I was one of the first. uh, uh, it feels like it should be Friday today. Wish we had a bank holiday tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to the crime lab tomorrow, actually. So, happy Friday, Metric. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I will hate written Louise / Lauren. A hate written. You might have to, yeah, correct that. Yeah. Or we could do an eccentric scientist cruise. How's that sound? That'd be cool. Oh, sick, Hades. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to the DNA databasing lab tomorrow. So that's where if they book somebody on like a felony or something like that, they take what's called a buccal swab, take a cotton tip applicator, scrub the inside of your cheek, slam it in a collection device, and then they run it on the instruments that I work on. Yes, we can have a virtual tour in your lab. You mean this lab or like my customer's lab? Because if I went to the crime scene investigation labs or the sheriff's department, they would probably kick me out immediately if I was taking videos and photos. So one thing that was cool though, I was at a police department on yesterday. Oh gosh, it was yesterday. I was at a police department yesterday, and I was sitting there working on the instrument, and one of the investigators came in and she was like, hey, I'm going to do such and such thing under the hood. A hood is just like this big piece of hardware that has a sliding door on it, and it has ventilation through it. So if you're dealing with chemicals, you uncap them in the hood and you're working with them in there. Well, she said, I'm doing so-and-so thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, are you wearing contacts? And I was like, yeah, I actually am. She's like, okay, just stay facing that way and then, it'll be fine. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was working, and then they finished up doing what they were doing. And I turned around to look, and one of them had a handgun and a magazine for evidence. They had found it at a crime scene, and she was literally dusting it for fingerprints. So, and she saw me look, and I must have looked for like a second and a half instead of half a second, like I tried to. And she was like, "Do you want to see?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely. I want to see how you fingerprint something in real life." And so, literally, in the middle of my job, I was just waiting on a run for some DNA to come off, and she like took me through the whole process where they apply this certain thing that binds to the amino acids that are in the oils from your hands. And that's what creates the fingerprint, essentially. So they put this little chemical on it that sort of outlines the fingerprint. And then you dust it. She had the little tin of dust that she poured out. And then she had her little thing that she spun between her fingers to dust the magazine. And then she took like scotch tape off, put it on the print, lifted the print off, and then put it on a backer board, and then you could see the print. It was like a perfect thumb print. It was pretty sweet. So that was the first time I'd ever seen evidentiary fingerprinting in action before. Sphinx, I'm not a detective. I am a genetic scientist. So I work in those labs a lot. I feel like this is taking forever. These high rep sets, I'll usually be chugging along, and then all of a sudden I'll hit a wall within like 2 reps. I just hit it. Oh, that's it. All right, done. Yeah, fingerprinting was pretty cool. Pretty neat. Thank you. This is a long one. Oh my goodness, 101 minutes. It's a long stream. Well, my dog's still out here. She's stuck with me. She's still hoping to play fetch. We did that twice already today, though, so we got to take it easy on her joints too. As she tries to knock over the phone. I'm gonna kick it. Random question: why is cancer increasing more? Why are cells prone to DNA damage more? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have in my mind the statistics about that in particular. We do know that it is a fact, although it may be overblown in some cases, that EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, stuff that's emitted, it's radioactivity that's emitted from your phone, other electronic devices, there is some level of radiation. So it's probably nothing to be majorly concerned about, but you know, any form of radiation certainly has the potential to damage nuclear DNA. And so I think that's probably a contributing factor. And also, there's also a little bit of maybe a diagnostic bias, whereas we just haven't been that good until relative modern times in parsing out different um, pathological conditions, right? So there's definitely a case to be made for a lot more people got cancer back in the day and it wasn't diagnosed, so it doesn't go into the statistical handbooks and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's pretty safe to say that our instance of cancer has been increasing, like you're saying. The vectors for why that would be, I haven't done a whole lot of research on, but I know that EMFs probably do play a part, but I'm just not sure that they're, like a lot of people are like 5G is going to kill everything. Yeah, that's unlikely. The cell phone in your pocket's probably not going to, but a non-zero chance is still a potential. So those are kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know if that's helpful or not. That'd be an interesting thing to actually dig into the data for. I am grateful because I feel like if you read the news, I read the news for so many years and I was thinking, man, they keep saying like major breakthrough with cancer and it just doesn't feel like there's like, do you know anybody that was cured of the cancer way better than your great uncle who died of cancer? Like that's not a good, like a robust question to ask because your experience is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of statistical reality. But at the same time, it's a little discouraging sometimes when you read like, hey, we're making huge progress. And then it's like, do we see that? Do I see that? Does anyone see that? Do the books see that? That being said, especially with the development of AI, which is probably a whole different conversation that we can have another time. But doing things like, um, for instance, this one guy developed an artificial intelligence program that um, that focused on protein folding. So proteins are made of strings of amino acids. Hades, pay attention to your biology class in a couple of years. Um, but you have your A, T, C, and G, and you have triads of those that make up amino acids. Then you string a whole bunch of amino acids together, and you get a protein or a peptide. Proteins like do everything for your body. They serve neurological functions. They move stuff from here to there. They're literally like building blocks. They do everything. You need protein and amino acids and proteins in your body to do certain things, to do everything. And so the general rule was that a PhD student, somebody trying to get their PhD, um, it would take them all 4 years of their grad degree to unfold and characterize one peptide, one human peptide. And so the proteins, they have those triads, amino acids, string a bunch of those together, and then they fold in a specific way. And the folding affects the effect that the protein has on your body. So there's primary, secondary, and tertiary structures for folding. So like when you cook an egg in the skillet, you're actually denaturing the proteins. That's why it looks different, the texture is different, stuff like that. But our proteins are folded. And so when they're in their tertiary structures, they're incredibly compact and folded up. And over the course of 4 years of I think there's crystallography maybe that they use to visualize, and they have to unfold this peptide with thousands of hours of man hours. Well, anyways, this guy developed an AI that he let loose, and it literally unfolded the entirety of the human proteome, every single protein that the human body uses, in an evening, one evening, and it unfolded all of the human protein structures. So he's now working on developing an AI cell. We'll be able to take theoretical medication applications and say, if I were to inject this into the body and we have AI cells, we're going to be able to see how does that cell interact with this medication in a virtual environment and be able to short circuit a ton of the current animal and human clinical trials. We'll still have to do those things, but it's not going to take nearly as long to do those developments. And I think that's a good thing overall. Again, the whole AI discussion is for another time. There are definite downsides with alignment and things like that. But yeah, I think chemotherapy is worse as it causes further cancer as it damages DNA, hence why some people get cancer recurring later in life. Yeah, caveat is that I'm not an oncologist. Those people know way more than I do about this stuff. But I would say chemotherapy, I've said for years that chemotherapy, and in particular radiation, um, I think we're going to look back eventually once we've advanced technologically far enough, where we look back at it similar to bloodletting in the 1700s and earlier, where they're literally like, George Washington, you have a problem, you're sick, let's let your blood out and hopefully that cures you. That's like, man, that's brutal, and like we killed tons of people doing that. And I think chemotherapy and radiation is going to be in the same vein, but it's sort of like right now it's the best that we know how to do it. And at a certain point, if you have cancer, as an individual, you have to make the choice. Do you want to throw the brick house at it and hope that it works? Or do you take a milder approach, realizing that that approach may not be sufficient? And so it's sort of this trade-off thing, in my opinion. You're trading off, we know chemotherapy and radiation is horrible. Your hair falls out, you're puking all the time, your digestive system goes to crap. Like it's really rough. But what you're saying is, I'll take all of that if it shrinks this massively problematic tumor. So that's kind of my views on it. So lentil allergy. I have one of the only lentil allergy in the East Coast of America. Wow. I would believe that. I've never heard of that. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. Hey, I got to kick out of here. I'm going to go eat a little bit, enjoy the rest of the game. Appreciate you guys joining, as always. Got a good workout in. It was good chatting with everybody. Thanks for being on. It's always a pleasure. Yep, never quit learning, guys. Good one. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Me and my dog, you say, sleep well. See you guys.